Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm a private chef in Bozeman, Montana. Although I'm from Montana, I do travel a lot all over the world to kind of get some more information about different cuisines and cultures and bring it back to my clientele in Montana. So today we're going to do some Thai food. Thai food is all about balancing your salty, your sour, your sweet, and your spicy. So we'll go over those balancing techniques today. We're going to make a Thai fried spring roll for an appetizer and then move on to a pad Thai shrimp. And then finally we'll end with the red curry beef. And yeah, we'll get started today on the spring roll. All right, so we're gonna start the first preparation by spiralizing some cabbage. This is for the spring roll. So it has cabbage, some shredded carrot, as well as bean thread noodles, which are soaked for 20 minutes to 30 minutes in hot water. So we'll start by spiralizing the cabbage. So this is kind of a fun little tool that you can use for making zucchini noodles or lots of different things. So basically, you just take the whole head of cabbage and get it in there pretty tight. And then, yeah, start spiralizing. I can show you from the side. It goes pretty fast. And what's really nice about this technique is it kind of makes the cabbage into noodles, as opposed to if you're going to cut it, it kind of like is more pokey. And so when you go to roll it with your spring roll wrapper, it's really nice to have the noodle instead of like little pokey pieces of cabbage. So that's really helpful. So yeah. And after this, we will cut our noodles. Let's get a bowl. All right, so see how like noodly it is, and it'll just roll really nicely into the spring roll. So there's our cabbage, and then we'll move into our noodles. The noodles will cut a little bit because they're really long. So I'm just gonna drain off some excess water because I don't want my mixture to be too moist. It tends to break. These will tend to break if it's too moist. So I'm just gonna pat off these noodles, and then we'll just give them a little rough chop. That's probably good. Add them to our cabbage mixture. It's looking pretty already. And then I have some grated carrot, but I like to cut the carrot on an angle. It's easier to grate. Makes it go pretty fast. All right, so that's good. So we'll add this carrot to our mixture. And then also just some granulated garlic powder, or just a powder too. This is granulated garlic, but you can use just garlic powder as well. And we'll give it a quick toss. We'll clean up here, and then I'll start rolling the spring rolls. All right, so we're ready to roll our spring rolls. We have the filling already made. We have spiralized cabbage, shredded carrots, bean thread noodles, and a little granulated garlic powder. We're gonna use these spring roll wrappers. It's really important to get the spring roll pastry wrap. If you get like the rice paper, it's not gonna be the same. You can't get the egg roll. You have to get the Thai, or it doesn't have to be Thai, it just has to say pastry on it. Otherwise they won't work very well, or they won't be the same. So these come frozen, and you wanna take them out like maybe 25 minutes before you're ready to roll them so they can thaw. And I like to start from the middle. So, and then to seal them, we use a little flour mixed with water. So it's kind of like a paste. And that will kind of help it to, like, kind of, it works as like a glue for the wrapper. So you take about like a decent sized handful, get it kind of centered towards the back, and then you're gonna fold this up like an envelope. So you wanna kind of tuck it in and then make your little envelope, so like that. And then just roll it up with a little bit of your flour glue, like that. All right, so yes, I'll show you guys one more time how to do this. So you're just gonna tuck it in, kind of make an envelope shape and roll it up. And you can make it sure it's very tight, because the less oil that gets inside the spring rolls, the better and more like fresh it will taste and not super oily. All right, I'm gonna roll a few more of these and then we'll start frying and get our oil up to temp. All right, so we have our spring rolls rolled and ready for frying. You're gonna use medium to high heat, and they'll take about 4 to 5 minutes until golden brown. All right, so let's drop these spring rolls in. You do 4 at a time in this size pot. And you kind of want to watch them and make sure you keep flipping them so they cook evenly on all sides. This should take about 4 to 5 minutes, or until they're golden brown. All right, so our spring rolls are fried, and you can see they're golden brown and nice and crispy. And we're gonna cut them on a bias to present the platter. We will serve them with a sweet chili sauce, as well as a Thai garlic chili paste. I like this because it's a little spicy, and this is more like a sweet and sour sauce. And I purchased these, but we're also gonna make a Thai peanut sauce from start. So we'll do that first. All right, so we have some coconut milk that we're gonna use. We're gonna use 1 full can of coconut milk. And then we're gonna do, this is 2 cans, so I'm measuring it. Then a pinch of salt, 2 tablespoons of white vinegar, and then 3/4 cup of sugar. And the vinegar and the sugar kind of act as a thickening. And then we'll also do 2 ounces of red curry paste, and your peanut butter. It's nice to use a peanut butter that's doesn't have any sugar or salt, because we added sugar and salt. And then you're just gonna simmer this for 5 minutes, and then we'll serve it with the spring rolls. All right, so we have our peanut sauce. That's kind of the consistency you're looking for. I like to serve it warm with the spring rolls. And since these are done, we're gonna cut them on a bias and kind of place them around the sauces. All right, and then I like to garnish the spring rolls with a little chopped green onion just for some color pop. All right, so there it is. And now we're gonna move on to making our pad thai sauce. So I have in here, you wanna use a blender if you can. I have about 10 limes squeezed fresh. And we're gonna do 3 parts lime juice. And then we're gonna do a half of a red onion. And I just do a rough chop because it's gonna go in the blender. And then 3 cloves of garlic, peeled. And then we have 3 parts lime juice. Let me say that again. So we have 3 parts lime juice, and we're gonna do 2 parts oyster sauce. So it's a 3-to-1 ratio. So you got your 3 parts lime juice, 2 parts of the oyster sauce, and then 1 part fish sauce. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it. If you want to measure, you could do 1 cup of lime juice and then 1/2 cup of oyster sauce and then 1/4 cup of fish sauce if you wanted to. All right. And then we're going to blend this up. I'm also going to add some sugar. There is sweetness to the oyster sauce, so you don't need a lot of sugar. And we're just going to kind of add it and try it and see. So we're going to blend this on low until it's all combined, and then we'll move into getting our ingredients ready to make the pad thai. right, so now we're moving on to the pad thai shrimp. The ingredients we're going to use is some minced garlic and some hot peppers. I used jalapenos, but you can use Thai chilies or whatever you like. We have our shrimp peeled and deveined. This will be our garnish. We have some crushed peanuts, some green onions, cilantro, and these will go into the actual dish to kind of saute with the noodles. And then we have our pad thai sauce right here. We'll give it a blend before we start sauteing it. Okay, follow me to the stove and we'll start making our pad thai. All right, so we're gonna use a non-stick pan. Traditionally in Thailand, they'd use like a wok, but for this instant, we're just gonna use a non-stick pan. It's more conducive to cooking in your own home. So we're gonna get that on high heat, like medium to high. And then we're gonna use vegetable oil to start our stir fry. So I'm gonna just add a little bit, probably like 2 tablespoons is probably enough, just to coat the pan. And kind of get a good swirl, just make sure that all your surface area is covered. Because we're gonna start with frying 2 eggs as soon as this gets up to temp. And our shrimp and our garlic. So we're gonna probably do 1 tablespoon of garlic. And I'm just gonna test it out, just to see how. So we're gonna wait and see. Okay, so we're adding our minced garlic, and then we're gonna add 2 eggs to the pan. And I'm kind of gonna scramble them in the pan. So once they kind of get fully or almost halfway cooked, we will add our shrimp. So that seems like a good little starting point. So I'm gonna do like 6 shrimp in this dish. All right. So we're kind of getting a nice scrambled, not like a scrambled, kind of like a fried egg, like between a fried egg and a scrambled egg. Our garlic's getting all toasty. So this is a very regional dish. I mean, it's all over Thailand. It can be in the south or the north, and everyone has a different take on it. So it's really kind of where you go and who's making it. This is just my version, which I seem to like a lot. All right, so now that the egg's kind of done, I'm just gonna flip these shrimp really fast. All right, we're gonna add our noodles to it too. So these are thick, wide noodles that I've soaked in hot water for about an hour. Some places people make the pad thai kind of more crispy. I'm gonna make mine a little more soft. I like it kind of more soft. All right. Just kind of let this get up to temp, and we can add our pad thai sauce here in a second. I'm gonna wait just a second more though. Usually, if you're cooking this, you want really high heat. A lot of places like street markets, they'll have their huge wok and then they'll have like open flames. So it's very high heat. So in home, it might take a little longer as opposed to a higher butane output. And add my sauce. And you can be you can do as much as or as little as you want. I kind of like my pad thai a little more saucy. I like the flavors. And if you wanted to have a little heat, I'm gonna add a little heat to mine because I like it. You can also add red pepper flakes. People do that a lot. Or you can do Thai chili, whatever you kind of are into. Or you can even add sriracha or garlic chili paste. So if you can see, these noodles are getting more translucent and like a little softer. But you kind of want it to get to a point where they're like soft, but then they're almost starting to stick to the pan. And that's kind of when you can gauge that the pad thai is done. So this is looking really good. And as soon as it gets to like this point where it's kind of like not sticking yet, you want to add some green onions. I have these cut in 2 inches or 2-inch pieces, and then bean sprouts. I like a lot of bean sprouts. Some people like a little. When I was on a diet, I kind of just did pad thai with just bean sprouts and took out the noodles. Made it a healthier dish. All right. Yeah, so once you add the green onions and the bean sprouts, probably only a minute out. Give it a couple tosses. Yeah, it's starting to get a little stickier. The shrimp's cooked through. All right, so we're gonna let this cook off and then we'll plate the dish and garnish it. All right, so it's fresh off the stove and we're just gonna plate it. Thai food's usually served family style, so it's nice to make a big platter and put it in the middle of the table. Everyone kind of takes what they want. Usually you have a pad thai, a fried rice, or a curry dish, and people just take and share. So I like to garnish my pad thai with a lot of cilantro, just the leaves. So we have some cilantro on there. And then I kind of do crushed peanuts down the middle. And some fresh green onion on top. And then, since there's so much lime in the sauce, you kind of want to showcase your lime. So I just do a couple wedges for garnish. Yeah, there we are. Enjoy. Now we're going to move on to our red curry beef. All right, so now we're moving on to our final dish. We're going to start, this is going to be the red curry beef. I like to give a little sear on the beef before, just to kind of give it a little more flavor. Since there's so much flavor in the curry though, I'm just going to sear it with just plain salt. You can add a little like powdered curry paste, but I don't have any of that today, or yellow curry paste if you want a little extra flavor, but I think it's just fine just with a little bit of salt. Today this is a sirloin. I like to also use a tri-tip cut. I feel like it has more fat and a little more flavor. Yeah, so I grew up in Montana, but at 17 I went to Thailand and lived there for 2 months. And then since then I've been back 5 times. I spent a month and a half there in April. And so I just fell in love with the flavors and all the balancing of them and just how much more flavorful it was than my mom's cooking. She was a wonderful cook, but it was meat and potatoes, elk, antelope, duck. So yeah, lots of wild game. So when I went to Thailand, I really just fell in love with how much flavor was in the food. So basically the flavors are balanced with the saltiness, and usually that comes from the fish sauce, the sour, which is from lime or a vinegar, the sugar, which is from sugar or like a palm sugar, and the heat, which is from Thai chilies or the curry pastes or red pepper flakes. So it's really about balancing all those flavors to kind of make it pop. So we're going to go over here and sear our steak. All right, so we have our beef seasoned with salt and a little vegetable oil to coat it. And we're just going to sear it on a hot grill plate. You can do this outside on your grill if you'd like, or you can also just slice it thinly and add it to the curry to cook. I just think this adds a little more depth of flavor, so that's why I'm doing it this way. Yeah, so we'll let these get going and then we'll slice it up. All right, so I like to give my vegetables a little saute. You can put any kind of vegetables you'd like in your curry. Today I'm doing fresh ginger, garlic, carrots, zucchini, and bell peppers. So we're gonna give that a good saute. I'll also add some broccoli and bamboo shoots at the end. I will also add some bamboo shoots and some blanched broccoli at the end to the actual curry sauce. All right, so we're gonna saute our veg. I like doing this because it adds a little more flavor as opposed to just adding the vegetables raw to a curry or something like that. I just feel like it kind of makes it more flavorful. So I have zucchini, carrot, pepper, onion, and then we'll do minced ginger and a little minced garlic as well. And then I'm going to season this. I'll season this with some fish sauce for the salt. And as you can see, our meat's almost done. It's seared on both sides. Rare, because we're going to slice it and add it to the curry at the very end. So I think you can pull these off now. And you don't want to cook these till they're like fully. You kind of just want to get them a little, you don't want to cook them to where they're mushy. You still want to have a little crunch in them because they will cook longer in the curry. So we'll let this keep cooking and then we'll start our sauce. All right, so we have some coconut milk in this pot. And we're kind of using the fat of the coconut milk, the bigger chunks, kind of the fattier part, just to kind of get our curry paste sauteed. It kind of acts as an oil, but it also brings out the flavors of the aromatics in the curry paste. So we're just going to saute this for a little bit just to get that popping. This is just a red curry paste that I bought from the store. If you're really ambitious, you can make your own curry paste, but it's really important that you have the right ingredients. And me coming from Montana, we don't have fresh ingredients readily available. So yeah, we're just kind of getting the aromatics out of the paste. This is on high heat. And you can see our veg is kind of al dente cooked. So we're going to turn that off. All right. And I like to use full fat coconut milk. I feel like if you wanted to go a little lighter, you could do a light coconut milk or add some water or some stock to it. But we're just going to go for the full fat. So the paste is acting as the hot component of this dish. And to make it pop, we're going to add fish sauce for the salt. And you kind of just do this to taste, depending on how much you're making. And then we'll do lime for sour. Squeeze one of those limes in there. And then we'll do a little sugar for sweet too. We'll let this kind of simmer, and then once it kind of the flavors are balanced, we'll add the vegetables and the meat. All right, so you can see the pretty color that it's kind of created now. And the flavor's good there. We're gonna add our veg to it. And this is already salted from the fish sauce that we sauteed it with. So it's gonna have a lot more flavor to add to this curry itself. And then I have our meat that's been seared, and we sliced it really thin. And we will add that. And since this is rare, we're gonna let it cook a little bit before we add our last three ingredients, which is gonna be a bamboo shoot, a broccoli, and our fresh basil. So we're gonna let this meat get up to temp, and then we'll add our fresh ingredients. All right, so our beef is cooked perfectly, and there's so many beautiful colors going on now. So we're gonna add, this is already pre-cooked blanched broccoli in salt water. So we're gonna add the broccoli to this dish, some bamboo shoots, and our basil. And I like to use a lot of basil. I feel like it just makes it colorful, flavorful, and just has a really good flavor. This is just regular basil, but I prefer Thai basil if you can find it. So we're gonna let this just steep for like 2 more minutes, and then we'll complete it. All right, this is all done. It looks great. You can smell the aromatics from the basil and the curry paste, and it's well balanced with lime, sugar, salt, and heat. We have some steamed rice that we're just gonna put in a bowl. I like to kind of put it on the side for plating, because I think it just shows better, in my opinion. So I kind of like put it on the side, and then we'll put our curry on the other side. You can smell all the goodness. All right. Perfect. And then you can garnish with whatever you want. I have some green onions that I'll use, and I love cilantro, so we can put a little cilantro on there too, since we have it. All right. Add a little more beef to that. And there we are. Time to enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me today. We made spring rolls with a peanut sauce, our pad thai shrimp, and lastly, our red curry beef. You can follow me at chefsarahduncan.com or at chefsarahduncan on Instagram. I look forward to cooking for you again. Thank you.